Hello, it's Ryan from 2MinuteTennis.net and welcome to Friday Q&A episode 4. This is where I answer your tennis questions. If you have a question you'd like me to feature possibly in an upcoming episode, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Push all with the notification bell, and then throw your comment or your question in the comments below. I've got 3 great questions. Awesome. Each week the questions just get better and better. So let's first start with Kerwin. Question: I play weekly against a pusher who basically lobs, meaning deep in the court, everything back to me, simply waiting for me to miss. My struggle is deciding whether to make contact prior to the ball hitting the ground or letting the ball hit the ground, then returning with a forehand or backhand, meaning ground stroke. Your thoughts on how to handle? Thanks so much. Kerwin, great question. All right, Randy, question number 2. The biggest question of all, once you're able to hit all the shots, how do you play under pressure? I love this question. Can't wait to get to this. I'm actually going to start with that question. And question number 3, Chansa says, I've been struggling with my kick serve. It always becomes a slice serve. What do you think I should do? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this week's episode. So Randy, let's start with this. Dealing with pressure. So the first thing is to understand that, remember when we were kids and we asked our parents to like open the closet door because we thought there was a monster there, and then the parents opened up and they turned the light on and we're like, oh, there was no monster. Even though it felt real to us, like we swore there was a monster in there. There wasn't, right? So let's define what pressure is. Typically, in my opinion, pressure is worst case scenario. We're afraid of the worst case scenario of what it could possibly be. What I want you to do is get a pen and paper, and I actually want you to write down what the worst case scenario is before a match. Like, let's say you're in the finals of a tournament, it's a club championship, it's a school, league, match, whatever, conference match. I want you to write down what the worst case scenario is, and then think, should you be afraid of that? Maybe it is. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, Ryan, I'm in the US Open Junior Finals. Like, I totally get that. There's endorsement deals, there's all this stuff. I totally get it. But maybe, just maybe, what you're afraid of isn't something you should really be afraid of. You'll look back at it, and I'll talk about this with Billie Jean King. You'll look back at it and you'll think, wow, what a privilege. Because she talked about pressure being a privilege. But I want you to define it. Say, what is it? Say, like, are you going to lose your house? Well, no. Is someone going to steal your rackets and say you can never play tennis again? Well, no. Is someone going to kick you out of school? Well, no. Are you going to lose your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, wife, or, well, no. Once you start saying, wow, like, the worst case scenario isn't actually that bad. Somebody very famous once said, the only thing to fear is fear itself. I want you to define what the actual worst case scenario is, and then really think, should I be afraid of that? What you'll probably find is that you shouldn't be afraid of anything, and that hopefully will have you go out with more confidence. The second idea is to understand that your opponent feels the same pressure you do. Sometimes misery loves company, and realize that your opponent looks at you the way you're looking at your opponent. We often look at our opponent walking across the parking lot with their bag on their shoulder and their headband and their wristbands and their shiny new sneakers, and we think, wow, they totally have their act together. Guess what they think about you? They're thinking the same thing. We always think that everyone else has their act together. Well, guess what? They're thinking the same thing about you. Your opponent is just as nervous as you. So maybe knowing that will help you be less nervous and handle the pressure. The third idea, and I already touched upon it, that pressure is a privilege. Realize that when you are in a pressure situation, there are many people who wish they could be in that same situation. We always think, oh, I'd love to win the US Open. Really? Do you want to go out there in front of 20,000 fans and millions of people around the world watching you play tennis with the chair umpire and the ball kids and people, if you're playing against somebody who's really popular, now all of a sudden they're booing you and they're cheering the opponent, talking about pressure, right? Is that something that you actually want to be in, right? And what I mean by that, and if the answer is yes, I love that. My point is, it is a privilege to have pressure. There are a lot of people, if you feel pressure, boy, are there a lot of people who wish they could be in that situation. So take it as a privilege and that it's something that you should embrace, because there are a lot of people who wish they could be in your shoes feeling the pressure that you feel. And then last is something that I do with my kids every morning. I've been doing this with my kids over 4 years, every single morning. We do positive affirmations. We do this on the way to school, and I've been doing this since my kids were, before they could even remember. Like, I've been doing this with them, so they don't even remember not doing this on the way to school. Let me go through some of the positive affirmations that I say with my kids, and they can rattle these off easily, you know, after 4 years. I love God. God loves me. I'm a great kid. I believe in myself. I love myself. When I get knocked down, I get back up. I'm not better than anybody else, but nobody is better than me. When I lose, I cheer for the winner, but I ask to play again. I'm positive, I'm kind, I'm grateful, I'm smart, I'm a problem solver, I have a positive attitude, and I make situations better. Those are some of, and there are many more, those are some of the positive affirmations that I say with my kids over and over again on the way to school. And I can see a big difference in their ability to handle stressful situations, because I will say things like, when the going gets tough, and my kids say, I'll say to them, life is tough. And they'll say, but I'm tougher. Those are things that I've ingrained, and they're younger than 10 years old, and they're things that I have ingrained in them so that they can rely on those situations in the pressure situations of life. So maybe just saying some positive things over and over to yourself, meaning over and over again, day in and day out. Sometimes we don't get the compliments we want from the people around us. You know what? Maybe we should start complimenting ourselves, because aren't we the one who we care about our own opinion, you know, like more than anybody else's opinion? So try the positive affirmations. I think that'll actually help as well. All right, let's get to the first question, which is how to deal with a pusher. And do we hit this ball out of the air? And let me just kind of move this chair. Do we hit the ball out of the air? Do we take the ball off the bounce? That's a great question. So this is you're playing singles, and it could be doubles as well, but let's just say it's singles, and your opponent's just hitting these high balls deep into the court. Well, if the ball is super deep, you can take it on the rise, but in my opinion, usually if you're playing someone, I mean, this is just my opinion, but if you're playing someone who's like a constant pusher, you're probably at a level where taking the ball on the rise isn't super comfortable. So taking the ball off the rise isn't easy. So it might be risky doing that. So it might make you want to move back. But the problem is when the ball lands deep and you move back, then the ball bounces high and it's hard to hit. So if the ball lands deep, you might just have to move in and take the ball out of the air. I totally get it. But what I would rather you do is nip it in the bud, meaning rather than just hitting deep and giving them the exact ball that they want, let's take this scenario like you're returning serve and they serve to you. Try returning super short. Just hit the return super short. They want to hang back behind the baseline. Do you know what the golden rule of life is, right? Do unto others as you want to have them do to you. The golden rule of tennis is do unto others as you don't want them to do to you, right? What you should do when you're bored sometime, write down a list of all the things you hate that your opponent does. Right? Oh, I hate when they push me back and then they hit a drop shot. I hate when my opponent runs me back and forth. I hate when the opponent hits a serve out wide and then hits into the open court, whatever it is. What you're doing is actually coming up with your own game plan of the shots you should be hitting against your opponent, because players of equal level tend to have the same likes and dislikes. So your opponent doesn't want you to hit short, right? Your opponent doesn't want to have to come inside the court. So try not like a drop shot like you're trying to win the point off the return, but when they serve to you, just hit a short little return. I mean, so you're gonna have to practice this, like go out and ask someone to feed you balls, right? But you need to have that ball come to you and you're just practicing that nice, easy hit over and over again where you pull them forward and get them uncomfortable. They want to stay behind the baseline. So right here, hit them short, and then when they hit the ball to you and approach, they're probably going to be stuck around here, and then you just hit it hard to them and let them mess up with that shot. But don't let them just hang out at the baseline. Hit some short balls over and over again, and the return of serve, especially like a second serve, is the perfect situation to do that in. So don't let them hang behind the baseline. Hit the ball really short. All right, to answer this third question, I'm going to be on my knees in my basement. It's about 10 o'clock at night right now making this video, so I can't make this video outside. So I'm going to be on my knees explaining how to hit a kick serve, so bear with me. So the first idea, and there are 4 ideas I want to cover here right now. First idea is the grip. You want to put the base knuckle of your index finger on panel number 2. That's the continental grip. But you want to put your heel pad on panel 1.5, halfway between the eastern backhand and the continental. Making that slight adjustment in the heel pad of your grip can make a world of difference in your ability to hit a kick serve. The second idea is to keep your body sideways. So if my target is that wall, I'm going to hit a kick serve and I'm going to keep my body to the side. I am not going to face where I want the ball to go. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to face to the right. This would be a nice little drill for you to practice. Face to the side, but hit the ball where you're not facing. So basically hit the ball 90 degrees off of where your belly button is facing. Just doing that can get rid of hitting that slice. The third idea is putting the toss more above your head. This is well known, but some players, they toss too far to the right, and you want to toss more above your head where, the ball would land on your head. So have the ball more above your head. That helps you get the racket to the inside of your hand so you're going up. One little thing, you don't want to hit the ball as high as you can reach. I got the Topspin Pro here and I took off the arm so you can work on a slice serve with the Topspin Pro. I'll throw my affiliate link in the description below. It's so awesome to be able to practice kick serves on this. What you want to do is put the arm horizontal so that you have a horizontal axis. And what you want to learn is how to go up as you're hitting. Well, realize that you can't be going up. Topspin is a low to high swing. Well, you can't be going up if you're contacting as high as you can reach. So you want the ball above your head, but you also don't want it as high as you can reach. You want it to the inside of your hand. And then you go up after you hit the ball. So you want to think of hitting, but going up after you hit the ball. Doing that with the grip and keeping your body sideways, boy, is that going to make a world of difference. And then the last thing is you don't just want to keep your body to the side, but you want to swing along the baseline. Here's the baseline right here, right? So this is the baseline, I'm serving that way. Well, I'm going to try to swing along my baseline. I'm not going to swing toward my target, but I'm actually going to try to swing along the baseline. So I'm going to swing not where I want the ball to go. I'm going to swing along my baseline, getting those 4 ideas. The grip, keeping my body to the side, tossing above my head, and then swinging up along my own baseline in a rainbow effect where I'm hitting on the way up, and then I pronate and come back down. Those 4 things, huge improvement in the kick serve. So a big thank you goes to Kerwin, Randy, and Chansa for throwing their question in the comments below. Remember, if you got a question, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, and then throw your question down below. If you apply what you just learned in this Friday Q&A episode 4, there is no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2MinuteTennis.net. You got this.